Let me take you on a journey with David, a university student from Italy who dreamed of speaking English as fluently as the characters in his favorite TV shows. When he first started learning English, David did everything by the book. He studied grammar religiously, memorized long lists of vocabulary, and even practiced speaking when he could. However, despite his efforts, whenever he met a native speaker, he felt lost. The fast pace, slang, and natural flow of English conversation seemed like a distant goal, almost impossible to achieve. But David didn't give up till he realized that to truly learn English like a native, he needed a new approach, something more immersive and natural. David's journey changed when he decided to dive headfirst into English immersion. He began with small changes in his daily routine, switching his phone settings to English, listening to podcasts on his way to class, and watching his favorite movies in English without subtitles. These changes helped, but David wanted to push himself further. One day, he heard about the shadowing technique, where you listen to a native speaker and immediately repeat what they say, matching their tone, speed, and intonation. He picked out scenes from movies and YouTube videos, repeating them out loud until his speech flowed as naturally as the actors. It felt awkward at first, but soon, he noticed a dramatic improvement. His words started to glide together smoothly, and his pronunciation became more authentic. Yet, David knew that pronunciation alone wasn't enough. He needed to learn how to think in English. At first, this was difficult. His brain was wired to translate from Italian to English, and it slowed down his conversations. So, he decided to challenge himself. Every morning, he would describe his surroundings in English while walking to class. "The trees are swaying in the wind," he'd think, or "I'm heading to the library." Soon enough, English became second nature, and he found himself thinking in English even when he wasn't trying to. David's next focus was expanding his vocabulary. He started reading articles online and paying attention to how native speakers used everyday expressions. He wrote down idioms like "a blessing in disguise" and "under the weather," trying them out in conversations whenever he had the chance. To further expand his vocabulary, David also used flashcards and spaced repetition apps like Anki to commit new words and phrases to memory. He didn't just memorize words, he learned them in context, understanding how native speakers would use them in real-life situations. Still, David realized that he had to improve his listening skills if he wanted to truly keep up with native speakers. He began listening to podcasts that featured native speakers from different English-speaking countries. The first few episodes were challenging. Accents from different regions like Australia and the UK sounded unfamiliar. But over time, he trained his ear to recognize words no matter how quickly or differently they were spoken. He practiced active listening, repeating phrases and writing down what he heard to boost his comprehension skills. To fully embrace his journey, David knew consistency was key. He set daily goals, like watching 20 minutes of English content, reading one article a day, and chatting with a native speaker at least once a week through language exchange platforms. David's progress wasn't immediate, but slowly, he began to feel the shift. One day, during a video call with an American friend, David realized something amazing. He was speaking fluently, naturally, without even thinking about it. David's journey from a struggling learner to a confident, fluent speaker wasn't easy. It took effort, persistence, and a willingness to challenge himself daily. But by immersing himself in the language, focusing on pronunciation, thinking in English, expanding his vocabulary, and practicing consistently, David unlocked the secret to learning English like a native speaker. IT wasn't just about mastering grammar rules or memorizing words. It was about living the language. How to learn English like a native speaker, methods and detailed steps. Learning English like a native speaker is a goal many people aspire to, but it can feel overwhelming. Fortunately, with the right methods and dedication, you can develop fluency, pronunciation, and a deep understanding of the language. Here's an in-depth guide on how you can achieve this with practical techniques that will take your English to the next level. 1. Immerse yourself in English. Immersion is one of the most effective ways to learn any language, especially English. By surrounding yourself with English, you naturally pick up vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation, just like a native speaker does from birth. Here's how you can do it. Steps for immersion. Watch English TV shows, movies, and videos. Choose content that interests you. Start with subtitles if necessary, and gradually reduce them as you understand more. Watching diverse content helps you understand different accents, slang, and cultural references. Listen to English podcasts and audiobooks. Passive listening can help improve your comprehension skills and expose you to natural speech patterns. Try podcasts that cover topics you enjoy or audiobooks of bestsellers. Listen actively, paying attention to word usage and pronunciation. Engage in English media daily. Dedicate time each day to consume English content. Whether it's reading English news articles, scrolling through social media, or browsing English language websites, daily exposure builds familiarity with new words and structures. 2. Focus on speaking and pronunciation. To sound like a native speaker, mastering pronunciation is crucial. Native speakers tend to have clear, smooth intonations and rhythms in their speech, something you can develop with practice. Methods to improve pronunciation shadowing technique. This involves listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say as closely as possible. You can use YouTube videos, TED Talks, or even movies. Focus on mimicking the rhythm, pitch, and intonation. Over time, you'll become more attuned to how words flow naturally in English. Practice with speech apps. Apps like Elsa Speak or Pronunciation Coach provide personalized feedback on your pronunciation. These apps can help you correct specific sounds that may be difficult and guide you toward native-like pronunciation. Speak with native speakers. Regular conversations with native speakers are invaluable. Use language exchange platforms like Tandem, HelloTalk, or Italki to find native speakers who want to practice your language in exchange for English conversations. As you speak more, you'll naturally begin to mirror their expressions, idioms, and pronunciation. 3. Think in English. Translating from your native language to English can slow down your speech and cause errors. To truly think like a native speaker, you must begin thinking in English. How to train your brain. Describe your day in English. As you go about your day, try describing what you're doing in English. For example, while making breakfast, think, "I'm pouring cereal into a bowl. Now I'm adding milk." This helps create an automatic connection between actions and the English language. Engage in internal monologues. When you're alone, practice having conversations with yourself in English. Talk about your plans, reflect on your day, or even debate a topic as if you were speaking to someone else. Use English for simple decisions. When faced with simple decisions, such as what to eat or where to go, try making these choices in English. This creates a habit of thinking in English without relying on translation. 4. Master vocabulary and idioms. Native speakers have a vast range of vocabulary at their disposal, including idioms, slang, and informal expressions. To speak like a native, you'll need to expand your vocabulary beyond textbook English. Methods for building vocabulary: learn vocabulary in context. Rather than memorizing lists of words, learn new vocabulary in sentences and real-life situations. This not only helps you understand how to use the word correctly, but also gives you a sense of when and where to use it. Use flashcards and spaced repetition. Tools like Anki or Quizlet help you memorize words efficiently using spaced repetition, a technique where you review words at increasing intervals to improve retention. Focus on phrases and collocations, words that frequently appear together, as this is how natives typically speak. Incorporate idioms and slang. English-speaking cultures are rich in idiomatic expressions that add color to the language. Read informal blogs, watch shows, or listen to natives, noting phrases like hit the nail on the head or break the ice. Try using them in conversations to sound more natural. 5. Develop listening skills. Native speakers often speak quickly and use contractions, making it challenging for non-native speakers to keep up. Improving your listening skills is key to understanding fast, natural speech. Steps to improve listening: listen to different accents. English is spoken with many different accents, from British and Australian to American and Canadian. Get used to these by listening to people from different regions. You can use platforms like YouTube, Netflix, or even language learning sites like British Council to hear diverse accents. Practice active listening. Instead of passively listening to English, actively focus on what you hear. Pause a video or podcast to repeat sentences, try to summarize what you heard, or predict what might come next. Use dictation practice. Listen to audio clips and try writing down what you hear. This forces you to pay close attention to details and improves your ability to catch words even when spoken quickly. Point 6. Grammar. Focus on usage, not rules. While it's important to understand English grammar, native speakers often rely on instinct rather than strict grammar rules when speaking. Focusing too much on rules can slow down your fluency. How to improve grammar: naturally learn grammar through reading and listening. Instead of memorizing rules, notice how grammar is used in real contexts. Pay attention to sentence structures in articles, books, and conversations. Over time, you'll internalize patterns and know instinctively how to form sentences. Speak without fear of mistakes. Don't get bogged down by minor grammar mistakes. The more you speak, the more naturally correct your grammar will become. Correctness often comes from exposure rather than deliberate thought. Use grammar in context. When learning a grammar rule, immediately practice it in writing and conversation. For example, if you're learning about conditional sentences, practice by imagining hypothetical situations like, if I had more time, I would learn another language. 7. Consistency is key. Becoming fluent like a native speaker won't happen overnight. It requires dedication, consistency, and time. The more consistently you practice, the faster you'll reach your goals. How to stay consistent: set daily language goals. Make learning English a habit. Set specific goals, such as watching 20 minutes of English content a day, reading one article, or having a conversation with a native speaker each week. Track your progress. Keep a journal of new words you've learned, conversations you've had, or media you've consumed. This helps you stay motivated and see how far you've come. Create a support system. Surround yourself with people who are also learning English or who can support your journey. Join online communities, language learning groups, or forums like Reddit's r/language learning, where you can share tips and experiences. 8. Use English in real-life situations. The best way to truly solidify your skills is by using English in real-world settings. If you can, travel to English-speaking countries. But if that's not possible, there are still many ways to practice. How to use English in real life: engage in online communities, participate in English forums, social media groups, or gaming communities. Engaging with people who speak English in natural conversations can help you become more fluent and confident. Attend language meetups. In many cities, there are English language exchange meetups where learners and native speakers practice languages together. You can also find virtual meetups through platforms like Meetup or Eventbrite. Start a blog or YouTube channel. If you enjoy writing or speaking, start a blog or channel in English. This forces you to organize your thoughts, communicate clearly, and improve your language skills while sharing your interests. Final thoughts: learning English like a native speaker is a journey, but with persistence, the right techniques, and regular practice, you'll get there. Focus on immersion, consistent speaking practice, improving your pronunciation, and expanding your vocabulary and context. Remember that mistakes are part of the process, and the more you practice, the more natural your English will become. By following these methods, you'll not only learn English more effectively, but also start thinking, speaking, and understanding like a native speaker. Good luck on your language learning journey. Okay, darlings. You know what? David's story isn't unique. It's a reflection of what's possible for anyone willing to embrace a native speaker's mindset. Learning English like a native speaker takes time, but the steps are clear. Immerse yourself in the language, practice speaking often, think in English, and develop a strong vocabulary. The key is consistency, patience, and allowing yourself to make mistakes along the way. Are you ready to begin your own journey to fluency? Start today by applying these methods and challenging yourself daily. Soon enough, you'll find yourself navigating the language like a native speaker, confidently joining conversations and expressing yourself effortlessly. Remember, fluency isn't just about learning English, it's about living it. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and watch your English skills soar to new heights.